Hello again, I am Blunty, and over the weekend I went to the EB Expo, a video gaming convention right here in Sydney. This, specifically what you're looking at, is the Razer booth at the EB Expo, which I can only assume in an effort to wildly frustrate anyone trying to take video of their fantastic little product line, was built entirely out of black material with the barest minimum of lighting for human vision, much less my damn cameras. In any case, I struggled on, and it was my first chance to get hands-on with the new Razer depth-sensing web camera called the Stargazer, which I saw behind glass at E3, but now, with it already being available in the new Trump Kingdom, but not yet on the shelves in Australia, I was at least able to see it in its final retail-ready form, albeit not actually plugged in and hooked up, so I didn't actually get to mess with it yet. Apparently it was going to be set up on day 2 of the expo, but I didn't actually go back to day 2 on the expo. Oh well. Now, the reason I've been so excited about this webcam is, unlike every other webcam on the market, this one has been designed from the ground up for gamers and for game streamers, as you may imagine, being from Razer. It has, for example, Intel's RealSense technology on board for 3D depth sensing, kind of like a grown-up version of the Xbox Kinect. It can do gesture recognition for interesting in-game stuff. It can scan 3D objects, if you're into that. That sounds kind of fun, particularly if you team it up with a 3D printer, I'm thinking. Hee. But for me, and other streamers and YouTubers in particular, the really interesting bit about this 3D depth sensing stuff is you can do dynamic background removal. So the pain in the ass process of setting up and properly lighting a green screen just goes away entirely. It uses the depth sensing information to figure out what part of the image is you and what part is everything else behind you, and just kind of makes the behind bits go away. I'll have a proper review of all of this and how well it actually works in the real world when it actually lands in Australia, which I'm told is pretty close now, although they wouldn't tell me a date. But I would like to imagine they'd want to get it on shelves as soon as possible because we are racing towards Christmas, and I have a funny feeling it'll be on a lot of people's Christmas lists, don't you think? Meanwhile, this weekend I also saw the news that the massive threat that Razer's Stargazer camera now presents to what for years has been the default choice for streamers in particular, the Logitech C920 webcam, a webcam I myself use for my Twitch streams. It seems Logitech have finally stopped resting on their laurels and been throat punched by Razer out of their complacency and are finally making an effort to push webcam technology forward again with a long overdue update to the C920, with the announcement of a Logitech C922 Pro Stream webcam, which looks next to identical to the old reliable C920, but comes with streamer-friendly features like matching the Razer Stargazer for the 60 FPS capture at 720p, perfect for streamers who push out gameplay at 60 FPS. Finally, we can match the frame rate of the web camera to the game, hooray! It also does 1080p at 30 FPS, which is lovely to have, but again, exactly like the Stargazer does. Also, like the Stargazer, it has a method of dynamic background removal for cutting you away from the background without having to piss about with a green screen setup. But as Logitech's web camera lacks the clever 3D depth sensing Intel RealSense technology that Razer are using, it has to do it in a kind of an old school way that we have seen on web cameras before, but hopefully it's a little more refined now because it never actually worked that well in the past. Which one will work better in the real world is still unknown because the C922 hasn't launched anywhere yet, so we haven't seen any proper independent reviews of it at all, much less mine. I've already been promised a review unit of the Stargazer, by the way, so I've tapped the Logitech folk on the shoulder too about doing the same for the C922, because obviously these cameras are in direct competition, and obviously you want to see comparisons. And as both a lifelong gamer and a huge camera nerd, I have no fear of false humility when predicting my reviews and comparisons of these cameras will probably be the best ones you'll be able to find. So, cross your fingers I get the units in a timely manner. The Stargazer also has custom-built mics with fancy noise cancellation in them, though most streamers will probably not even use them, like ever, as anyone worth their PJ salt will be using a dedicated mic, of course, but it's nice to have them for guys who are just starting out, who haven't been able to invest in all the fancy equipment yet. Meanwhile, the Logitech C922 apparently has the same mics as the C920, which is not good news, as those kind of suck, especially for streaming. They were kind of the bare minimum you needed for video chat and that kind of stuff. Ugh. But again, just like on the C920, not a deal killer because dedicated mics are a thing. I'm also hoping the low light performance of these cameras is vastly improved over what we have now, as that has always been the crippling weakness of every web camera since the very first one hit the shelves. And personally, I hate having bright lights in my face while trying to game. I'm a dark room kind of guy, so the better the web camera performs in low light, the happier I become. So, how about you? Which one of these tickles you the most? Razer's very first try at a product like this, packed with clever technology and gamer-centric features, as you would imagine, coming from Razer, a company that just does gamer stuff, or Logitech, not quite as fancy, but from a company that has been doing webcams since practically forever, but who, once they stomped their competition into the dirt many years ago, kind of got super lazy about pushing forward with the march of improved camera sensor technology at the very least. Seriously, the C920 has been around for, what, 4 years? 5 years? I don't know. Seems like an age to me between updates. Personally, I am on the fence. I really like the Razer gear that I have now. In fact, you're listening to me on a Razer microphone. But on the same note, the last 2 webcams I've had have both been Logitech and have both been basically bulletproof. But again, once I get my hands on one, and hopefully both of these cameras, I will be breaking their performance down in my usual useful information, no BS kind of way, so cross your fingers, look forward to that. And either way, the streamers win with 2 strong contenders in the ring again at the same time with new products on the shelves. Razer are going to be pushing aggressively because they like to be associated with streamers and stuff, and Logitech can't be lazy anymore. Otherwise they're going to lose a lot of ground because the C920 has been the default choice for streamers, and Razer have competition to keep them hot, and of course, price-wise, competition is always good for end users, so I'm pretty happy about the situation right now. And that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.